Hey there, lovely ladies. Welcome back to Divorce the Next Chapter podcast. This episode is Waiting to Exhale. On this podcast, we talk about, spilling some truth, serving a little honesty, and maybe having a laugh or two about surviving and thriving through your toxic or narcissistic relationship and marriage. My name is Jana. I am your host. I'm a nurse. I'm a single mom, and I am a survivor of a 19-year narcissistic marriage and relationship. So I know a little thing or two about how to get yourself out of this and really thrive. So here we go. Today we're talking about one of the most insidious aftermaths of narcissistic abuse. That damn post-traumatic response that's got you stuck in fight or flight, stress response, like an overcaffeinated squirrel. Like you don't know what's going on. You're like all crazy. If you're a woman in your midlife and you survived a narcissistic relationship or marriage, this one is for you. I think that we all share these commonalities. It's just that nobody talks about it. Nobody says, because I don't know if it's embarrassment. Yeah, it's embarrassment and it's privacy. And you just, you feel so terrible about it because of the aftermath of the narcissistic abuse. It makes you feel that way. But the more we talk about it, the more we realize that there are commonalities that happen and we're not crazy. We're fucking normal. So here we go. You ready? Here we go. Let's be real. Surviving that narcissistic relationship and marriage really fucked with your head. It really, really did. And I get it because I was screwed up for a long time. And when I finally had my light bulb moment that I've talked about before, and the fog started to lift and I started to talk about it, that's really when I was like, wait a second. What I went through is not normal. What I went through is real. And what I went through, a lot of women go through. We just don't talk about it. So here we are. That constant state of danger, that fight or flight stress response, that your body, we all have it. And it was meant for us way back in ancient times, way back in our evolution. It was meant to warn us of danger and either fight it or run. But through evolution and through modern times, we still have that in our DNA. And surviving a narcissistic, abusive relationship, when you're in it, you're in that constant fight or flight. Your brain just keeps hitting that panic button. Bink, panic, bink, panic, bink, panic. And you're at that heightened level of awareness at all times. Your body can't sustain that. Your brain, your body, your mind cannot sustain that. It starts to manifest itself in all different ways. There's statistics that people who survive post-traumatic stress from a narcissistic abuse are akin to people who have gone and fought on front lines of Afghanistan, of Iraq, and have post-traumatic stress because they're at war. So this is not something that is made up. This is not something that is like frou-frou, theory. This is actual science. Your body is in this fight or flight for so long. And then when you dissolve that narcissistic relationship, that narcissistic marriage, there's a little bit of a bump down. But everything that happens, you go back into that fight or flight and you're back into that hamster on a wheel and you're panicking and you're panicking. And it causes anxiety. It causes stress. It comes out in physical manifestations, high blood pressure, can't sleep, anxiety, overwhelmed. All of these different feelings happen and you don't know why. This is why, okay? You're unable to relax. You're hyper alert. You're tired all the time. You're exhausted. You always feel like you're walking on eggshells because you just went through a toxic marriage and relationship for however long, and that your body was at that level for so long, it doesn't know how to get out of it. Okay? So what does that look like when it transfers into your everyday life? What does that look like when you're not in that immediate danger anymore, but your body can't get out of that fight or flight? Here are 3 very common, across the board, ways that it manifests and filters into your everyday life, okay? You overanalyze everything. Number 1, overanalyze everything. Every single thing that happens, you overanalyze like like you're an FBI detective. Like you try to connect the dots. If somebody says something to you, you overanalyze it. If something happens at work, you overanalyze it. You are constantly spending your energy overanalyzing every moment of every day of your life. And you start questioning what is real, what isn't real, what you feel, what you want, what you don't want. And you just spiral into this overthinking. You can't control the chaos in your head. It's like trying to fit pieces of a puzzle together that don't fit. So overanalyzing everything. If you overanalyze everything, put in the comments, overanalyze, if that's one of your traits. Number 2, trusting your own instincts is difficult. So difficulty in trusting your own instincts. When you go through the narcissistic relationship and come out of it, the degradation that happened of your confidence, of your instincts, of your inner voice, you've been battered so often because you've been gaslit that your reality isn't your reality. You've been gaslit that didn't happen that way. You've been gaslit that, I didn't say that. I didn't think that. But you've been gaslit so hard that you question everything. You question what's real, what's not real. You second guess yourself. It's like your GPS is on schizophrenic mode. You can't figure out what is perception and what is reality, because those lines have been blurred so badly, and you just second guess yourself all the time. Well, spoiler alert, it's a trap. It is a trap that was set up and that was implanted in your brain by your narcissistic person on purpose. It's manipulation. It's all part of what they were trying to do, which was basically control you. And one of the biggest things that I have found is that feeling of waiting to exhale. That feeling that you're just waiting for that other shoe to drop, because something good is happening and your brain believes that can't be true, that goodness can't happen to you. So you're holding your breath. You're waiting for the shoe to drop. You're waiting for that rug to be ripped out from under you, because it can't be true that something good's happening. Because when something good always started to happen in the past, something bad followed. And that's what happens in our head. So it could be a trauma response. It's the constant emotional turbulence, the manipulation, the unpredictability. You become this hypervigilant person. So, for example, okay, this waiting to exhale, this waiting for the other shoe to drop, this rug pulled out. I always called it the rug pulled out syndrome, because this is how I lived for well over 10 years. My husband at the time, he worked for a long time at a cable company. 9 years. And yeah, okay, so great. He had a 9-year track record. Those 9 years were not the best 9 years, because it was always, I'm going to get this certification to move forward to make more money. I'm going to do this to move forward to make more money. But the self-sabotage was horrific. And that advancement never happened. So because his personal advancement never happened, our family's advancement never happened. When he got fired finally from this job, which is a different story altogether, he jumped from menial job to menial job to menial job. But there were some instances where he had real opportunities to straighten out. One of the biggest opportunity was he went to be a power linesman. If you know anything about power linesman, is a very good job. It's almost a great job. It's a very dangerous job. They pay well. They have amazing benefits. It's just an amazing opportunity. And when he got that job, I held my breath, because at somewhere I was hoping and praying that this would be it. But I was waiting to exhale. I was waiting for that rug to be pulled out. And shit, sure enough, that rug came ripping out and everything fell because he self-sabotaged. It was a disaster. And that situation, maybe not the same players, but the same script, happened over and over and over again. I was just constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop, for that rug to be pulled out. And it was like 9 years of that. It was, when I tell you over and over again, it was over and over again. And it happened also with other things. It happens with birthday celebrations and holidays, and this is going to be it. This is going to be great. And then boom, it wasn't. And then all different situations. It just was a theme that just kept repeating itself. And that cycle I was stuck in. I was stuck in fight or flight because it just sent off a cascade of events. And every time I would think, this is it. This is going to be it. Our life is going to be great. We're going to have financial stability. Our kids are going to be good. That rug would get ripped out from under me. And then I was fighting to survive. I didn't know how the bills were going to get paid. I didn't know what I was going to do, and how am I going to buy groceries, and how am I going to do activities for the kids after school, and who's going to pay for dancing school, and who's going to pay for bowling, and I can't even take the kids out for fucking ice cream. Like, it just was a repeating cycle. And no matter what I did, it happened. And no matter what I did, it happened and happened and happened and happened. It just kept happening. That years of trauma response, that years of living in that traumatic event, created that insidious fight or flight that I could not get out of. And still to this day, it creeps up on me. I'm going through a situation right now in real life, in real time, that I have this nervous energy that I can't get rid of. And it's that fight or flight. And I'm doing all the things, believe me. But it's just in the fucking background. So it's just your subconscious. Your subconscious is just can't catch up to the reality of what's happening. It's a protective mechanism, your fight or flight. It's, you're protecting yourself, you're protecting your kids, you're protecting your stability. And it's just a constant thing. It just reflects on the mistrust of the stability of good times because of the previous experiences that we've had. And it's really something to recognize, and it's crucial in healing through this narcissistic abuse survival. So healing from this trauma is not a quick fix. It's not a magic pill. It takes work, but there are ways to start unwinding the mess. There are. Going to give you 3 solutions on how you can move forward from survival to thriving. All right. This is going to be difficult for everybody. Okay. I just know it is. Practice radical self-compassion. Practice radical self-compassion. Yep. You need to give yourself a little permission to be a little gentle towards yourself. You got to give yourself some grace. Okay? Because we're really hard on ourselves when it comes to beating ourselves up over what we allowed, what we went through, and where we are at. So you have to stop beating yourself up. Stop that negative self-talk, which I've talked about in other podcast episodes. You survived through hell. And that's real. We all have our stories. I survived through fucking hell. Not just during the relationship. Really, my hellscape took a terrible turn deeper into the levels of hell when I filed for separation. So in New York, you file for legal separation and then you go through your divorce trial and get officially divorced. But once you file for legal separation, you are not married in the state of New York. That's the law. As soon as I filed for legal separation, everything went fucking bananas. And he refused to leave the house. And he became very bolden and brazen over things that, he did. And he went on a smear campaign and he stole my phone. He went through my phone. He screenshot 463, which I believe it was more, but that's all that the recycle bin would hold. 463 screenshots of conversations I was having, conversations with my friends, conversations with my lawyers. Okay? That's ultimately what got him kicked out of the house. What happened that night. It is ultimately what led to 2 separate orders of protection. But that didn't stop him from using those screenshots and those pictures against me, smearing my name with anybody and everybody who would listen. It was disastrous. I mean, I don't know how I survived that period of time without having a full-on mental breakdown. My mom had just died like 2 years prior. It was disastrous. But what I know now is that I survived it. I did it. And I had to give myself grace because I had to forgive myself for not doing things because I just didn't know at that time what to do. So I had to give myself a lot of grace. So practicing radical self-compassion, you are allowed to give yourself grace. Okay? Yes, we are hot messes at different times and different days, but we are allowed to be hot messes. You are. You don't have to have everything together at all times, 100%. Some days it's 90% together, and some days it's 90% hot mess. But it is. You keep moving forward, and that's what really matters. You have to start telling yourself, which I've talked about this before, and everybody says it's woo-woo. It's not woo-woo. It's actually scientifically backed. Positive daily affirmations. And every time you have a negative self-intrusive thought, You have to unwire that thinking, because that's the narcissist talking. That's the narcissist that put that negative self-talk in your head, that you're not able to do something, that you're not worthy for something, that you're not worthy of happiness, that you're not enough. Start putting positive spins on the negative self-talk. Every time a negative, intrusive thought happens in your head, flip the statement around and make it a positive statement. Okay? I do have a guidebook that can walk you through that, on how to get rid of the limiting beliefs. It's on my website. Positive daily affirmations. I am enough. I am worthy. I am brave. I am strong. I am grateful for my abundant life. I've talked about this before. It is one of the first things that I did to get myself where I am now, was positive daily affirmations, looking in the mirror and saying, I am worthy. Positive affirmations are definitely something that is not spoken about as a scientific reality. When your brain is looking for, your brain looks for things to validate, okay? Whether that validation is positive or negative. So if you keep telling yourself, I can't do this, I can't do that, I'm not worthy, your brain is going to look for validation to prove that statement true. But the same is true for positive. If you're telling yourself that you are worthy, that you're worthy of happiness, that you're, whatever it is, I am enough, I am grateful, your brain is going to look for those things in your life to validate those statements. So daily affirmations are a huge part of self-compassion, because it starts to rewire your brain from the negative self-talk to the positive self-talk. And that's part of compassion for yourself. In the comments, tell me what your favorite daily affirmation is. Or tell me a statement, a negative self-talk statement that I can reverse for you and make it into a positive, so you could recite positive to yourself. So your brain will look for positive things instead of negative, okay? All right. Number 2, ground yourself with mindfulness and listen to your gut instincts, okay? Your brain starts spiraling. It's spiraling out of control. You start to get overwhelmed, and then all of a sudden you're jumping from subject to subject to subject to subject, and you're like that squirrel. You're on that hamster wheel. You don't know how to get off. You have to have a technique in your pocket to pull out, to stop that crazy cycle from happening. Okay? I talk about this in my guidebook, Divorce Survival Guide. It's a very, very quick 3-activity jumpstart to help you get this going, to help you start healing and thriving. And one of the activities is a grounding, breathing exercise. And it's very, very simple. Okay. It's called box breathing. You take, on the count of 4, a deep breath in. You hold it for 4. So deep breath, count to 4. Hold it for 4. Exhale on 4. And you keep repeating it. When your brain starts spiraling out of control, you could be anywhere. You could be in the car. You could be grocery shopping. You could be just minding your own fucking business. And all of a sudden, it just kicks in. And it starts. One little trigger just makes it crazy. And the way to stop that hamster wheel of crazy is to use something like a grounding technique. So I have a breathing technique. It's in the guidebook. It's very, very simple. And it's box breathing. And it's inhale for 4 count, hold it for 4 count, let go for 4 count. What it basically is doing is refocusing your brain onto something different. So you're now focused on the breathing, and it calms down and quelches that overthinking cycle. There's a lot of other ways you could do this. Mindfulness meditation, guided meditation is excellent. Go for a walk without scrolling on your phone. Put the phone away. Go for a walk. Do some yoga exercises. It's something to keep in your pocket. I like the breathing because you could basically do it anywhere and nobody will know what you're doing. If you're in the middle of the grocery store, minding your own business, shopping down the pasta aisle, you could do the breathing and nobody's going to know what you're doing. And nobody usually knows that you're having this little panic attack inside you because your brain is spiraling out of control. It's something to keep in your pocket for the times where you find yourself all of a sudden crazy thinking. Another thing you could do is, when your brain is spiraling out of control because you have so many things to do on your to-do list, when you write stuff down, it exits your brain and it's on paper. So what I do when that starts happening and I'm like, oh my God, I forgot to do this. Oh my God, I forgot to do that. I use the Note app and basically Siri and say, Siri's turning on my phone now, and say, reminds me to blah, 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 set a reminder to blah, blah, blah. And then it's just out of my head and then I'm not thinking about it anymore. So there are little things that you could do to ground yourself and stop the chaos that's constantly happening in your head. Okay. Number 3, and I know this is going to be a hard one for everybody. I know it is. Reclaim your power through boundaries. So part of what got us to the problem that we were in, which that's a whole other podcast episode, but part of it is we let our boundaries down. And it's not even that we let them down. They got eroded on purpose because that's what the narcissist does. It's manipulation and the gaslighting and the whole love bombing and the whole business. It's to break down your boundaries. So to reclaim your power through boundaries is so powerful. So really, it's just saying no. You do know no is complete sentence, right? So now that I'm 50 years old and I'm in perimenopause and I survived this crazy fucking 19-year unbelievable torment, and I'm out of it for years now, and I've healed and I'm still on my healing journey. Maybe it's because I turned 50 and I have no fucks left to give, but boundaries is one of my greatest assets. No, I'm sorry. That's not for me. No, that doesn't align with my thoughts. That doesn't align with who I am now. No, I don't have to justify myself. I'm just not going to do it. That's it. It's not being mean. It's not being a bitch. It's not being rude. It's not being anything. It's about standing up for yourself and not doing what you don't want to do. What you know doesn't align with you. What you know is not good for you. It is saying, no, thank you. No. Okay? So it's about building up your emotional walls where they're needed. Okay, I'm not saying put a coat of armor around yourself. Okay. Let's be a little realistic about this. But it's stopping tolerating the things that drain you. You're not going to please everybody. The first person you need to please is yourself. You pour into yourself, and then you can pour into everybody else. So it's not being difficult. It's self-care. It's putting yourself first. Pure and simple. That's it. That's it. So healing after narcissistic abuse, relationship, toxic marriage, whatever you want to say, it's a journey. It is an everyday, sometimes hour to hour, sometimes moment to moment journey. It's about recognizing those old survival patterns, calling them out, and slowly replacing them with new, healthier habits. It's rewiring your brain, okay? Because those years that you were in that relationship caused trauma. Whether you know what your traumas are or not, they're there. And they creep out and affect your daily life without you even realizing it. So you've been waiting to exhale for a long time. And now it's time. We're going to take a deep breath in. And we're going to exhale. Put in the comments, waiting to exhale, if that is something that resonates with you. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Join me for future podcasts. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. And I hope I have a very great night.